Welcome to this episode of YouTube where it's ice chunks and snowshoe hare have been the stimuli this week. And we are starting off a little bit with some progress on Aiden. Very receptive staff doing some body work for him, and we're trying to finesse some technique that works. The growth has not returned since it burst a couple of weeks ago, and he seems like he feels a lot better. Definitely more relaxed. We have got to get that hay out of there so we can melt some snow and ice that's underneath of it. But for the most part, this is Axel standing there pretty close to Aiden, and here's Aiden again getting some social greetings from the wolf care staff. And if you look, that is Grayson, who is just right next to him. Causes no concern whatsoever to have Grayson next to him. It's Axel that kind of stimulates things a little bit, and definitely bolts. So things are continuing to kind of come out of the straw as things melt, but this was actually a rib cage we fed on Wednesday. We are still doing a midweek feeding for this pack because temperature and interest and that kind of thing is such that we want to divert especially some of the younger animals' attention. And just because Grayson is next to Aiden here doesn't mean that he still doesn't have personal space issues. Grayson kind of leans over a little bit and kind of lays on Aiden, and Aiden lets him know that's not acceptable. So, like I said, and Grayson listens. That's the interesting part. Even though Grayson's making maneuvers to be kind of more dominant, Aiden is gaining a little bit of confidence. And the other way that we see that is by this following behavior. So, like I said, Grayson's right in his personal space. But here's Aiden getting kind of excited. Mornings have been cool, in the single digits, and that gets him all kind of ramped up. But Aiden is kind of in the middle of it. He's getting excited. He's getting a little bit of tension from Bolts and from Axel, but he's dealing with it. He's facing off with Bolts. He's not as confident, but neither is Bolts. And so this is something that's changing. And not saying that we're going to have Aiden go back to the pack leader. I don't think that's in his cards. But I think if he can, as he holds his own and he gets kind of, relaxed. And the other thing is that he gets to move around a little bit more. So there's the pond, frozen in the mornings, thawing in the afternoons. He's clearly walking around and having no problems. That was actually just walked by. So the other stimuli is the ice. And as we said, freezing in the morning, so you've got a kind of a thin coat of ice. They try to do a stiff leg jump, or they try to go in and reach some ice chunks. So that's been keeping them pretty busy. And this will be the case until we get the ground to thaw and the water to drain. So we're going to see them in and out of the ice, falling in and out. The Arctics don't seem to have any problems. They actually get a little bit frustrated when they try to bounce on the ice and they fall in, but it's all part of the natural process of learning about things in your environment. So even in captivity, there's things to learn. So what ended up happening with Grayson, so he fell in the pond. That didn't feel very well, so he's going to go do a stiff leg jump on a puddle. And a stiff leg jump is a predatory behavior, and you see them, he gets ready and he pounces with that front foot. A lot easier on a puddle because you're not going to fall through. So who says wolves don't problem solve? And that's, like I said, that's likely going to be a situation for probably the next couple of weeks. Although I believe within a week we should start seeing nighttime temperatures above freezing, and that'll keep that ice layer from forming. So as I said last week, Grayson's standing tall. He's definitely posturing. He's looking like he's, kind of making himself taller. Certainly we saw from the bark hauling making himself heard. There's no doubt there's a lot of similarities there to Shadow and a lot of similarities to Aiden when he was younger. And so hard to say who's going to lead this pack. Denali, not so much. He certainly does seem to just enjoy the finer parts of pack life, which is guarding and possessing things and kind of sniffing. But here's again Aiden coming around. No issues moving over and on the pen, not the anxiety that we saw. His leg is dried up pretty well. So over in retirement, someone had emailed us and said, have you seen the surveillance video for Sunday night? And we looked at it, and lo and behold, we had 2 snowshoe hare that came under the gate into retirement. This is the back habitat that Luna seemed like she first identified them. Chases one snowshoe hare, and there's actually a gate on that backside. It looks like one of them exited the enclosure. Luna is still pretty heightened up and focused back into the pack holding area to see where it is. By that time, Grizzer is chasing that other hare. So there were 2 that came in. one that exited out the back, and then one that wasn't so fortunate. So Grizzer's maneuvering around. He's actually running pretty well. Again, soon to be 14, so definitely pretty excited the way they maneuver, but no match for the predatory drive of Luna. She actually is able to capture the Hare, cornered it, captured it, made a pretty efficient kill, and consumed it. So this is one of those things where we talk to the vet. We have her on a diet of 2 pounds of meat, the bare minimum that wolves need, trying to get her to lose a little bit of weight, and we can't control what comes into the enclosure. And in the past we've said ravens have dropped it. Now obviously we have a secondary issue with prey coming in. So we are actually going to do a little bit of testing on Luna, just because she's starting to itch quite a bit, which is a little bit more, we always have itchy wolves and as the undercoat comes out, but hers is becoming seeming like more irritating. And so we're going to take some time and do some blood work and really get a sense if see if she might have a thyroid issue. We need to check her blood work because she has a history of vitamin D issues, ionized calcium issues. She's got a lot of metabolic concerns, and we thought we'd maybe take a look at that leg as well and see where that plate, what that plate looks as far as that alignment and how things are in there, as long as we've got her down for blood work. I think it's probably important. Like I said, the staff have been commenting how they're scratching her belly and she's got a scratch reflex. Now we're having a little bit of issues with her mouthing us when we're touching her leg, and so I want to make sure that, again, she's physically okay and that we're going to be able to, again, be able to meet her needs, and I need to find out what those needs are. If it's a behavioral problem, we'll try to solve it, but if it's a physical problem, then we've got to address it. So clearly Grizzer didn't get any of this. As a matter of fact, Grizzer got a sideward glance and a growl when he tried to approach her. So, but like I say, that's not their main diet. Grizzer is on a regular diet. We monitor what he eats and make sure he's doing okay. So if you're interested in following the pack, we do have a webinar on the 27th of April. Denali and Aiden turned 10 years of age. So we'll be broadcasting live from the exhibit pack. If you want to go to wolf.org and look under programs and webinars, you can register for that event. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.